Hello everyone. Today we'll be taking up adjustments to the final accounts of companies. As we all know that while preparing final accounts of the companies, that is their statement of profit and loss and their balance sheet, we are given a trial balance, that is a statement of balances and some additional information. So that additional information will now be studied. Now the adjustments or the additional information that we are given, we can classify that into four main categories. Number one is the adjustments giving details. That is, the additional information that we are provided with is just giving us the details of certain accounts. We'll take up this. First of all, note down the categories. Next is adjustments relating to rectification of errors. Third is the main adjustments of expenses or incomes. So amounts relating to incomes and expenses. And lastly, we have adjustments relating to appropriations out of the surplus. So the adjustments which require you to adjust the surplus or to put the surplus in different accounts, these will be studied here. Okay. Now, before we take up this, let us understand one thing, that adjustments of final accounts implies those transactions which haven't been recorded. That is, the trial balance that we get is the result of the accounting process. That is, we have done journal entries, we have classified those entries into different accounts, and then the balances have been calculated, which implies that every transaction therein has been recorded according to the dual aspect concept. But the adjustment that we are given, these are those transactions which haven't yet been recorded. So the adjustments must be recorded according to their dual effect. So we are to record the double effect of the additional information depending upon, of course, the categories. So for ease of understanding, we have categorized them into four. So let us first start with the adjustments giving details. Now remember that we are given the adjustments which are just giving us the details of various accounts. So basically these are not actually the transactions. We are just given additional information relating to accounts. Like you have debtors account. So your adjustment may give you that out of your debtors, these many are for more than 6 months old and the remaining debtors are for less than 6 months old. So we are just given the period of the debtors. Likewise, we might be given bank loan, but in the adjustments we are given that this loan has been taken on the security of, say, premises. So an additional information is being given. So in the trial balance we are given the share capital, and the details provides us that out of this share capital, this much amount was issued against acquisition of, say, land and building, or this much amount was issued to the promoters of the company. So we are just given the details. These are not actually the transactions. So if any adjustment is giving us the details, then we don't need to account for this. So this will not be accounted, but it will be recorded, or we can say it will be shown in the notes to balance sheet or income statement. Right? Because these are not actual the transactions. These are just additional information given to us, details of various accounts. So we will simply note down these details while preparing the notes. These do not require our entries. So the examples of this can be share capital issued to promoters, or maybe you are given, say, security given against debentures or loan, or the time period of debtors, right? So these are all the details, and we don't need to pass an entry. These are not requiring entries. We will just give them in the notes. Likewise, we might be given market price of investments. Now, we are not to show investments at their market price. We are just to give this detail in the notes. Similarly, we may have some adjustments giving details of the contingent liabilities. Like out of your bills, if you have got some bills discounted. Now this detail is given to us, so we will simply give it in a note to balance sheet. So at the end of all the notes, final note is written for the contingent liabilities. So therein we will give contingent liability for bills discounted. If the company is having any, say, case pending, so there might be some liability which may occur because of that, as a result of that case. So again, that detail will be given through the notes. So remember, if any detail is given, it is not requiring any entry, but it will be reported to the users of the statements through the notes. So these type of adjustments or additional information is very easy to handle. We don't need to do anything. While making notes, just take care of that. So what you can do is that these adjustments can be marked in the trial balance, and when we are preparing notes, therein we will give all these details. Second category is adjustments requiring rectification of errors. As we all know that the trial balance that we are given has been prepared after recording all the entries. So while passing journal entries, if any mistake has occurred, like there might be a mistake of omission or commission, that means you have either omitted the whole transaction or you have recorded it incorrectly. So in that case, the error is to be rectified before we prepare the final accounts. So in this case, what we are supposed to do is think of the correct entry that should have been passed, and then the mistake, and then pass an entry for rectification of the error. So what exactly is needed is we will pass rectification entry, right? So the account which has been debited or credited by mistake will be reversed, and the actual account which is to be debited or credited will now be recorded. Adjustments are given. Just think of the rectification entry. Now pass this entry in the trial balance, because journal entries are usually not asked. So what we can do is we can think of the entry and we will record that entry in the trial balance given to us through a plus or minus sign, and then we will adjust it while using those accounts in the relevant places in the final accounts. Let us take up a few examples for this. For example, say we are given that installation expenses of machine wrongly recorded in wages. So you purchased a machine, you paid for the expenses, and by mistake you have recorded them in the wages. Now if we have recorded them in wages, the effect is that you have actually increased your wages by this, you have debited them in wages, but in reality you should have put them in the machine account. So this is the correct procedure, and this is the mistake. Now mistake must be cancelled by reversing it, and the actual account must be recorded. So if wages have been increased due to the mistake, so now we are to reduce the wages. So to reduce the wages, you will be crediting it. So you will record this through the entry, wages will be reduced and machine account will be increased. So machine being an asset, it will be debited and wages will be credited. Now while adjusting these, we don't need to look at the debit or credits. Reason being that we are just to correct the amount. So you can just think of in the terms of plus and minus. Like we know that by mistake our wages have increased, so correct thing will be reduce it to cancel this effect. And since this amount should have been added in the machine, so you will add it in the machine. So don't think of the debit and credit here. Just remember which account is to be increased or which is to be reduced. So make a correction, and through the trial balance, the given question, you will make the correction. Now the corrected amount will be taken in the preparation of the final accounts. Similarly, you might be given, say, another example. Forfeiture of shares not recorded. Now, if you haven't recorded forfeiture of the shares, so this is a mistake of omission. You omitted to pass the entry. Now, what is the effect of forfeiture of shares? Now, when you forfeit the shares, originally you have issued shares to the public. So, when you forfeit the shares, your share capital, the effect will be share capital should be reduced, right? It should be reduced. Then the calls in area which you are now showing, these will then be cancelled. So calls in area should also be reduced, and the amount received must be transferred to share forfeiture account, right? So your journal entry which you usually pass, as you have done in the first chapter for forfeiture of shares, share capital account debit with the number of shares into called up value, to share forfeiture account, the amount received which will be forfeited, and to calls in area account, that is the arrears will be cancelled. So the effect will be capital is reducing, calls are cancelled, and the amount that you have received is to be put into a separate account which will be shown in the balance sheet under the heading share capital, right? So this effect will be noted down in the trial balance itself, and then you will work with the balances. Similarly, you may have another error of, say, omission, goods purchased. You purchased goods. These entered in stores. That is, in your stores ledger or in your stores, when you counted your stock, it has been counted but not recorded. But you did not record it, right? So how do you record the purchase? If it is a credit purchase, your entry is purchases account debit. In case of omission, entry is quite simple. So to sundry creditors account, right? So purchases are to be increased. Purchases will increase, and so will be your creditors. So omission implies a simple entry is to be recorded. Now let us take up a few more examples. Suppose we have sales return wrongly recorded in purchase. So sales return wrongly recorded in purchases. Now the effect is that you have entered them in purchases, so your purchases have increased, but it should be reduced. So this is what you have done, but in this place you should reduce your purchases to cancel the effect, and your sales return will increase. So your entry, if you are to pass the entry, it will be sales return account debit to purchase account, but we don't pass entries, so we will simply deduct it from purchases and we will add it in the sales return. Similarly, another example of this can be preference shares are redeemed, but provisions of section 80 have not been applied. This is again an error, because when we redeem preference shares, then either we should have equivalent increase in the capital through the fresh issue of the shares, or we should transfer equivalent amount to the capital redemption reserve account. So this is an error which you haven't done. So the correction will be that as per the amount of redemption, amount should be transferred from the general reserve or surplus or any free reserve, and it should be transferred to capital redemption reserve account. So these accounts will reduce by the amount of reduction in the capital, and a capital redemption reserve will be created. So this is regarding the rectification of the errors. So when we are reading the adjustments, we are to see what type of adjustment is this, and accordingly we will work for this. So if it is just a detail, no need to worry, simply put it in the notes to balance sheet. If it is an adjustment requiring rectification of the error, then think of the rectification entry or think of the effect. Any effect which has been done wrongly must be cancelled out. So if something has been increased by mistake, must now be reduced, and something has been reduced by mistake must now be increased, and the correct recording should be done. So think of the rectification entry, or if it is an omission, then think of the exact entry, correct entry and recording. So this is how we can work for these two adjustments. Now next time we will be taking up adjustments of expenses and income, which is a normal general adjustments, and finally we will take up the adjustments relating to appropriation of surplus. So thank you.